Alright, and welcome to another Wargame European Escalation multiplayer match. I'm DigitalAdhesive, and it's been a few days since my last video. I've been buried under the ravages of the winter storm Nemo. I live in Maine in the northeastern United States, and we've been hit pretty hard, 3 feet of snow in 2 days. And as I'm recovering from that, what better way to celebrate than by posting some more videos? As usual, I am representing the Warsaw Pact, and this match is pretty interesting because it's another one of those matches that sort of devolves into a stalemate scenario where neither one of us are really making any significant progress, and we're just sort of whittling each other down and taking points where we can. And trying to figure out ways to break the stalemate without a bold thrust that, if it fails, will give the game to the opponent. So this match lasted about 30 minutes. I'm going to be fast forwarding through the boring bits, but right now I decide I want to get Juliet just so I have a second reinforcement zone, and I want to pave the way for picking up Delta when I have the points, just so I can get even more points coming in. Alright, and my opponent decides to do some Black Hawk drops with Delta Force. He sends one over to Juliet, one over to Golf, and one over to Bravo, and still, yet again, one far over here. That's kind of a big investment of points, but I've been guilty of that. I usually would send out 2. 4 seems a little much in a 1,500 point game. So his Delta Force set down just as my initial forces make it here on the road. I move my command vehicle into the forest and unload my Conquerors. And these guys are just sort of sitting in a field, and I probably would have put them in the forest if I was him, but there's a lot to consider in the beginning of the game. You're moving things really fast. Sometimes things can get away from you. But these Delta Force are dispatched pretty easily with help from the recon and my infantry there. Now they're routing, and the thing about our recon infantry, though, is you really want to make sure you get them all. Otherwise, they can make it right into the forest and hide, and they can be great spotters for artillery, you name it. Now my recon catches these guys moving into Gulf, and I've got some artillery, obviously, and I don't know exactly where they are. I had to pull my recon back because of these Rolands, but I figured if he's going to drop infantry in the middle of this map, or in the middle of the zone, they're going to go into the city. I mean, where else would they go? So I decide to take a few shots there. I've got these MSTAs. These were an experiment. They were recommended to me, and I decided to swap out my Danas for them. And now I have a general idea of where he is. I know he's put some guys there as well, so I just taking a few pot shots. So he secured Bravo. He secured India with one lone command vehicle, unescorted. But he probably figured I wasn't going to put up a fight over it or be over there, and I guess that paid off. Again, I'm pretty nervous about sending out such high-value targets without any escort, but in this situation, it worked out for him. And he's doing what I would do. He's got a couple of anti-aircraft units up. I usually like to send 2 Tunguskas out to an initial zone that I take over with. I don't know if that's too much or not enough. Be interested in what you guys have to say about it, you seasoned vets. How do you guys break stalemates? I'd love to hear from you in the comments, or in the comments for this video. Does it devolve into that for you guys a lot? Is it, or are you usually almost always on the offense, and you guys are so pro that you never fall into this situation? I would like to hear about it. So obviously his push on Juliet didn't work, and he's not taking Gulf or anything like that. He really wanted those resupplies from both Bravo and India, and I guess he moved his original command vehicle, although if you do that, you probably want to get rid of your FOB, because that's 100 points wasted. It's just sitting there. I mean, I suppose if he wants to resupply his helicopters, that's good, because he can do that, but it's not like it's feeding artillery or anything. Bring in more Black Hawks. Oh, and also going back to what I was saying earlier, the MS, whatever these things are called, the MSTAs, they're good. I really like the accuracy of the Danas, though, and I think I'm going to swap back to them. I mean, it's great to have artillery with really good AP power, but I like having that tight circle. I mean, even if you don't have spotters for your Danas, they're pretty damn accurate. Alright, so we're just feeling each other out now. I sent a bunch of Mutschützen over to these woods with no real plan, just to sort of try and see what I can see and perhaps use them as part of a later attack. I've got my MI2 here. We've got we're trading volleys. He's got his AUFLs or AUF1s. I gotta figure out how to pronounce that at some point. I keep calling them awfuls just because it sounds neat. But mostly just trading shots, trying to take each other's artillery out. And so we're going to fast forward a little bit. Alright, I reposition my MI2 because I want better artillery. I want to see what I'm shooting at and just see what's over there. And he has a lot. He do like his artillery. A couple of Saracens with probably LAD, blowpipe, anti-air are moving up to this forest. There's trying to take this choke point between these two lakes here, and he's set up a pretty good perimeter over here as well. Although, yeah, he's got armored recon and 2 anti-air in the forest. Now, one thing about anti-air is you usually don't want to keep it in the forest unless it's by your starting location right here. Oh, and he's raining down on my BRDM. That's not good. Mainly because it really limits the range and scope and sight of your anti-air units. You want them out in the open, as counterintuitive as that sounds, because you want them to have the biggest line of sight and field of fire as possible. So, yeah, still trading shots. He does what I assume is a mistake here. He brings in an ATGM helicopter. My guess is he wanted to bring in a Gazelle cannon because he swings it right by my MI2 and then breaks off. I guess the pilots probably just wave at each other. So that was fortunate for me. Now, the battle lines are pretty well drawn here. We each have pretty good map control. He brings in an Apache, but I catch it in time with my my MI2 when I pull it back a little ways. Don't want to lose it. And he's ahead of me in points. He's got 220 to my 90. So at this point, I look at that. I see the points difference here, and even though we still got a ways to go, I don't want to give up points needlessly. And I'm kind of cognizant of the fact that I'm behind. Over half. He's got more than half, more than double the points that I do. And so I'm playing more of a defensive game right now. Trying to sort of bait him into making mistakes. I got a couple of T80 or T80 and a T80B up in this hedgerow in Delta, or this tree line rather. I've got a buck here with a dedicated Kolos. I don't want that. Apache made me nervous, and I'm normally twitchy about helicopters as it is. So I'm trying to set up kind of a perimeter between Delta and Juliet, with the idea of eventually taking Delta when I can afford to. I wish in the replays there was a way to actually see the amount of resource points that players had when you're doing a replay, but as far as I know there isn't. Alright, so I don't know what he's got up here in these woods. I'm sending up my armored recon to, you know, scope things out. I got no idea he's got these Saracens here, although I'm about to. As you can imagine, my MI2 discovers these Rolands, and that's kind of sad because those things ain't cheap. They're about 60 points, I think. Now he's 285 to my 90, but the trade-off is I know he's got anti-air there now. But it only serves to really make me more cautious. So I see these guys, they see me. His mortars start to open fire, and his Saracens charge, which I'm not sure if that's a misclick or if he didn't know what was in the forest. Maybe he probably just didn't realize I had stuff here, and wanted to test the waters to see if he could charge into it and establish himself there. So now he starts bringing up all these forces over here. Not much is happening over here. Some more artillery fire. And I drink my coffee. And my PT-85, you know, does what it can. Takes a few shots. Draws the ire of those mortars. Pulls back a little bit. And he starts shelling these woods because I don't think he knew what was there, but he saw a missile fly out of the woods, and that's weren't enough. I guess this one Roland here is shelling these woods, and his other artillery is probably just doing blind fire to see if he can pick off anything in Juliet. So he's kind of circling the news here a little bit. The good news is I've got a resupply right here. I mean, he has one too. This is a little dangerous. You know, for all I know, we could have had a helicopter right here, but I call him the BRDM. I really want to, I'm starting to feel the squeeze of points. He's getting one, oh wow, and he also, his artillery apparently also took out my, my command vehicle in Echo. Yeah, I remember that happening in the game now, actually. This was a day or so ago. So now I'm kind of panicking. I've got just 2 points. Fortunately, I've got a reinforcement zone, but that's it. I need to move my game around a little bit if I'm going to have any hope of winning. I mean, and if you look at it, he's got really good map control here. He's spread out, but he's concentrated where he needs to be, and yeah, he's making life difficult for me. Gazelle HOT is going around trying to find something to do. And again, I don't really know the full extent of what is in these woods. Yeah, if you look at it from my perspective here, there's just these open, or just these empty patches of woods as far as I know. I don't know what's in there, so I had the brilliant idea of sending some BMPs loaded probably with Machschützen toward the southernmost wood. And I'm just shelling India to have something to do with my artillery. The BRDM is pulling up into Delta along the southernmost line. Now his AML-60s are firing over the heads of my my infantry squads, which is pretty cool. BMPs managed to take out one of the mortar carriers, and they're working on the second. Trying to put a little pressure back, maybe make up some of the point deficits, which I do. And I decide to try and hit these woods out now. See the fucks coming in, and we sort of pivot around here to look at each other. Take it out. Beautiful. And of course he's got these dragons down here, which from my understanding are not the best ATGM infantry that NATO has to offer. Okay, I'm using motor Strelkys now. And I believe the reason I wanted to use them was because I like the APC, this BMP that comes with them. It's got a pretty good cannon on it. Taking fire from this part of the woods, though. Didn't know they were there. Take out that APC. Oof. Yep. My BMP goes down. My troops start to rout. But it wasn't a bad exchange. I mean, it was kind of even, more or less. He might have come out a little bit ahead in that. Alright, let's see what's going on. Yep, all I know is I'm getting a lot of fire over here. So now I'm a little concerned because I don't know exactly what he's got here again, but he's got some stuff. I know that, at least, and I can't just waltz through there. I was hoping that I might be able to just do a little bit of a push through here, pick up an easy win in India, but I'm realizing now that's not going to happen. I don't know why I took my guy. Oh god, I think that might have been my own artillery shot. I don't know. That would have been embarrassing. I'm not sure why I took my guys out of the BMP. I think I was worried about a missile coming out of the woods. Probably should have kept them in there. But take out the bulk of those blowpipes. He's got some Jaegers moving in, and now I've got enough points with Delta secured that I can start bringing in expensive hardware like Havocs, which I gotta be careful with because there's nothing that'll help you get behind it in game faster than losing a Havoc or two, and it's really easy to do. Of course, now he's got some super patents coming out, and this really is turning into where the battle line is going to be. This is the front right here, this small strip of land between these two lakes. Pull the Havoc up, take some shots as Blackhawk, I guess. I don't know what I'm shooting at. It must be the Blackhawk. Starts taking small arms fire, and I get nervous because, again, I don't want to lose this thing. I pull it back very wisely instead of trying to push my luck. And at least I still have the FOB here, so I can use it as an easy way to repair helicopters, and that's, of course, the first place I send it to. I bring it out, it takes some hits, and immediately I send it back, which is annoying. I kind of lost some momentum there, but better than having it be a hero. And, of course, he's reinforcing in India, and at this point I'm starting to think, you know what, if I can knock out Bravo, I can... And if I can knock him down to 2 points, I mean, I've got the point advantage right now, but still, he's ahead of me. He's ahead of me, and I'm not sure how to make progress over here. It's such a thin strip of land, and his forces are concentrated in here where he's got these 4 patches of forest he can hide units in. I can't see him until I get really close, and even with recon, it can be hard to sniff units out of a forest, and they've all got great firing solutions. So I set up a line of Conkers here just in case he decides to get any genius ideas about doing a tank rush with those super patents. And I start bringing some of my empty APCs over. I relocate my one of my T-80s over here. And I realize if there's going to be a push, it's probably going to be over here. And of course, like I said, at the same time, I'm trying to figure it out if I can make any ground over here. I don't know what's here. I know, thanks to this recon vehicle, this land recon vehicle, which is great because, unlike, I mean, I love my Mi-2s, but it's really easy to spot those helicopters. And if you can sneak in some ground recon into a forest, it can be really effective and hard to see, especially if you turn off its weapons so it doesn't open fire on a passing vehicle like a moron and give its position away. And of course he's got 2 awfuls there, and they're raining down the Conkers, and the Conkers are pretty vulnerable to artillery. I mean, they're unarmored, they're cheap at least, so it's not a tragedy if I lose some, but it's something, you know, I'm aware of. I've got a buck up here because I know I saw his one Apache over here. I know he's got Blackhawks. I know he's got an air presence, even if it's not especially concentrated. And I don't know exactly what's over here. Like I said, I know he's got the Apache. I can see it with my PT. I know he's got mortars because I saw them fire. But my guess is that he doesn't have a lot of dangerous concentrated ground troops over here because my guess would be he would have them all where it matters, up at the front here. And it's a guess, but it's an educated one. And he's got a second Apache over here, which I'm just waiting to feast on with my buck. If I can take out an Apache, that would be really, really nice for leveling out the score. And I'm trying to draw him a little bit closer. He must be just out of range. Hard to believe that's 4 kilometers, but you gotta do, ranges are what they are for balance purposes. And okay, and the buck opens fire. First missile misses. The second one misses, of course. Is that all she wrote? Yeah, he gets lucky. He pulls it out just in time. And I'm having none of that. I want to bring my buck up. I want that Apache dead. I want those, however many points Apaches are, like 160. They're comparable to the Mi-28 Havoc, so I know they're, it's a good meal to munch on if you can get one. And I'm banking that he'll be a little, willy-nilly with it. He won't be babysitting it. And so the buck moves up. I don't think I can see it No, I can't. But it's there. I know it's just on the outskirts. And of course, it opens fire on one of my Conquerors and utterly annihilates it. Buck opens fire, and I get what I want. And you can see the score is, we're almost tied now. So that was worth the investment in time and resources to do. And of course, I know that as soon as I move up into the clearing here, this entire tree line is going to open up on me. He knows that. If the same thing applies if he comes down here. The only real advantage I have is I've got this recon unit here, but I don't even know if it's doing me that much good. No, I can't see into the forest from this range. Again, God, look at all that artillery and mortar fire. I hate those mortars. I mean, they're really effective, and that's why I hate them. They're not good against hardened targets, but they're really good at they're good at harassing soft targets and making that really annoying klaxon ring whenever I'm like trying to focus on something and distracting me. And so we're doing a little bit of deforestation here, but yeah, not much is happening. So let's zip ahead a little bit. Okay, so now I decide to try and drop some VPZU, some special forces back here. I figure that it is, a quick cost-benefit analysis tells me that if I lose them, it's not the end of the world. It's 120 points, less than that if the helicopters survive, but they have the opportunity to do some damage, and plus they've got good optics, so maybe worst case scenario I can get some good artillery spotting down or something. I don't know, but I don't have any better ideas at this point because I'm still behind. I've managed to crawl back a little bit, but I'm losing this game. Even if I'm ahead of him in points right now, I can't make any headway over here right now with any of the tactics I've tried, and I'm trying to figure out what to do. So because I really don't want to lose these guys, I send them kind of a long roundabout way, just in case he has any anti-air that I don't know about. And he's sending these Delta Force on a really long run. That must be a couple kilometers over to my base, and it's generally not a good idea to do that. I understand, the fact that he probably didn't think that he had a better option because they're in Blackhawks, and he knows that I probably got some good AA, which in fact I do. I don't know why these guys are just sitting out there in the open. I think I moved them. Oh yeah, I moved these guys out when I lost my command vehicle. Alright, desperate move over here. Try and bring in some flame tanks in case he has a concentration of infantry there. Does not work. It was an experiment. It was a relatively inexpensive experiment, but just look at all that firepower. Those two super M60 Pattons. This is a mistake. Don't do that. Alright, I managed to put my VPZUs down in this forest without incident and get the helicopters to fly away. His Delta Force manages to make it. So, not a bad play. Again, I'm nervous about sending them across this open fields, but it probably wasn't a bad move because my attention certainly wasn't over here. I did not know this was going on. So, hey, fair play. No harm, no foul. And let's see what I can see. Not much. I can see the Black Hawk and I can see the Apache. And the Apache makes me nervous. I know if I do the same thing, because I'm thinking about doing what he did, what I just said he shouldn't do. I got these guys here, they're on foot, they were dropped in by a helicopter. What am I going to do with them? Not much. I got to run them across an open field. So I guess I'm a hypocrite here. But they do spot, let me rephrase that. Because they're here, I know that his command vehicle has to be in this forest because they can't see them and this is the only forest in the zone. So I was hoping the command vehicle would be here. It wasn't, but it tells me where the command vehicle is, and I start shelling. I start shelling and shelling and shelling. But it's mostly just for show. Over here, he manages to sneak up some a recon and anti-air disturbingly close. And of course, do I know he's there? I do not. That is scary. And I missed what happened down here. I think his Delta Force got rid of a Tunguska, but they summarily died. So, and I brought in a supply helicopter to feed my MSTAs because I felt it was reasonably safe, and I didn't want to just buy a never-ending stream of Colosses. I bring in another buck. I like the bucks when I have money to burn. It probably wasn't necessary, but you know, I saw those Apaches and I got nervous. I see this one sitting right here, probably, you know, in defensive posture in case I get any brilliant ideas to do a tank rush. So far, his guys are just chilling there, but look at that. Look at that. He's got this beautiful line of sight. Well, I thought he did. I guess not. This forest just must be too much. And he probably just want to move his recon to the edge of the tree line, because if he does that, he risks me spotting him and bring down the wrath of God on him from like 6 different angles. So, yeah, waste of potential right there. But I understand why he sat on it. Okay, so he brings his Apache out. He finally moves it out, and that was what I was waiting for. And now my BPZUs are sprinting like crazy to get to this forest. Again, I don't know for certainty that's where his command vehicle is, but I'm 99.9% certain because I can't see it anywhere else, and that's the only other patch of woods. So right now I'm like trying everything I can do, like to keep him distracted, hoping that he's not looking at the mini-map and doesn't see that big block of red running slowly, oh God, so slowly across this field. Look at that. This was definitely a gamble, but I didn't have any better ideas on how to get out of this stalemate. And now he's up ahead, 805 points to my 438, which is really a problem. So they run and they run and they run. He doesn't see it so far. Go, little VPZU squad, go. Go. Well, they look nice and sharp in those berets, huh? I like that. Probably not the best camouflage, but they're special forces. They don't need camouflage. They finally see the Sultan, get within range, boom. And that was really key toward trying to break this stalemate, because not only does it bring me up to a virtual tie, slightly ahead of him in fact in points, but now he's down 2 reinforcement points per tick. He's only got India left, and now having a 4-point advantage on him per tick in terms of resupply, I start to become confident that I can pull this off now and somehow turn the tide back on this stalemate. Again, I'm curious for you long-term players, you viewers, you short-term players. How do you avoid stalemates? What do you do when you get into a situation like this, where no one seems to be, no one seems to have a clear advantage? Can I? Okay, and yeah, he brings his looks up. I can obviously, I know there's a problem right now, but I don't have anything really on this side. You see, he pops a Kolos. That brings him up though. Now he's ahead, and we're only playing at 1500. So this is like this is coming down to the wire here. So my next brilliant idea is to try a Machschützen rush. They're cheap, and I figure that I can lose enough of them without losing the game, and hopefully take out some really expensive units like these super patents, which I know by this point are there. I've seen them, so I know there's some valuable targets here. Recon's dead. And so now, here's the charge. We're, again, virtually tied. He's slightly ahead, though. Patton's open up. Annihilate a couple of BMPs. Yeah, Alpha Squad didn't go too well for Alpha Squad. Pull up the Conkers, and I'm just trying to get some of these guys to the tree line to take out these super Pattons. It's a desperate move. And, you know, this is it. This is the all or nothing move. These ones get close enough that I feel comfortable pulling them out. And boom, boom. 2 Pattons dead. And now I can try and seize this tree line. Not the most elegant of plays, admittedly. But I was really, like, searching desperately for options here. And of course I'm aware he's got a ridiculous amount of artillery, or at least it feels that way, so I'm trying to keep the initiative. I don't want to just put them in the forest and camp if I can avoid it. So pull up the APCs, try and take out what I can here, and move the Machschützen forward. Just keep rolling, keep rolling. He's got a Black Hawk, probably with Delta Force in it. And this is, oh man, that was a bad hit. And the open field here between these two woods is small enough that I don't feel too bad about charging with the Machschützen. Try and get ahead of the mortar fire coming down. I lost almost half due to mortar fire, but you know, that's war. And I see he's got Delta Force in there, but I've got a lot of infantry, so I'm not too worried. Machschützen open up and quickly clean out the Delta Force. And now I know I'm probably gonna win here. Roll forward, the artillery's coming down. I sent in, I think, 12 BMPs, give or take, and only these guys really made it. But it was worth it in the end. It could have gone either way. If he had maybe 2 more Pattons, maybe even 1 more Patton in the woods there, in its own group, not linked to the other 2, it could have been a different story. And so now he knows he's in trouble, and he starts shelling the shit out of the woods here. He doesn't know where my Machschützen are, but he knows they're there, and he's just trying to do everything he can to take them out. And of course I'm frantically racing them forward, trying to get near something expensive. And wisely enough, he starts pulling back. I buy 3 more units of infantry and queue them up to land here, trying to capitalize on the gains that I've made. And I just want to rush forward and secure this area. I don't do anything more over here. I'm sorry, I moved my DPZUs over to this forest because I thought there might have been some mortars in there. I think there were. Cleaned house over there. Probably didn't get too many points out of it, but my Machschützen weren't my VPZUs weren't doing anything in that empty forest alone. So they pull up. He's in kind of withdrawal mode. For the first time almost in this entire game, this forest is clear. And he knows if he loses, you know, he's got 39 points left that he can lose, and it's game over. Coffee time. Queues up some more Pattons, although he really has to be hurting for points now. Yeah. Here they come. Probably maybe hoping that I try and do a infantry charge and he can pick them off with HE shells. Right now I know that's suicide if I do that. I keep my Machschützen in the woods, and he brings a few empty Blackhawks over here just out of small arms fire, or small arms range. I guess I decide to send these transports over here instead, which is probably a good idea. I want to spread out, try and get a better firing solution. God, I still don't even see this rolling here. It's crazy. I wonder what his firing solution was like in here, though, like how far he could actually shoot out of there. Alright, so he sees my VMPs and opens up with the mortars. But he only has sort of like a vague idea where they are. And at this point, I say screw it. You know, I can afford to lose some more, some Machutsen. And I say the hell with it. If he's got artillery there, or mortars, I'm guessing I can get to him before he can shoot me. Of course, this one poor bastard gets stuck in the mud. But these other two rush in, and those mortars just sail right over their heads. Look at all that mortar fire. He's got 6 mortar units shooting in. Out comes the infantry. Boom. Game. And that was a really hard-fought game. It was one of those games where, you know, I wasn't doing long division in my head while playing this. I mean, I was giving it everything I had. And I made some mistakes, of course. But, again, stalemates. They happen. They're difficult for me to break out of sometimes. I got lucky with that Special Forces VPZU drop and run on his command vehicle, and that really is what turned the game around for me and gave me a chance to win it. How do you guys break out of stalemates? I would love, as both NATO and Warsaw Pact, I would love to hear your stories. Thanks again for watching. Please rate, please comment, subscribe, interact with my channel, talk to me. And until next time, thank you very much. I'll see you around.